The Poco M4 Pro 5G is one device I didn't expect to see this year, especially because its predecessor, the M3 Pro, is barely 6 months old. So what can we expect from a Dimensity 810 powered and one of the most affordable 5G devices, retailing for just under $250? What up guys, Izzy here and welcome to the channel. So the Poco M4 Pro 5G. Many thanks to Poco for sending this one over. I've actually had it for well over 3 weeks and I've been using it. Now the Poco M4 Pro does not officially retail in Nigeria, but you should be able to pick one up from AliExpress or Banggood. Now at first glance it doesn't look very different from its predecessor. As a matter of fact, it looks a lot more like the Poco M3 than the M3 Pro. However, I think I prefer the design of the M3 Pro 5G. Now on specs, the Poco M4 Pro 5G is pretty much a replica of the recently released China-only Redmi Note 11. It is powered by Mediatek Dimensity 810 5G chipset, which is an improvement over the Dimensity 700 from the M3 Pro. It comes at a base 4 or 6 gigs of RAM and up to 128 gigs of UFS 2.2 storage. Now the 6nm Dimensity chipset is not the only area we've seen upgrades for the M4 Pro. There are also improvements in the camera department, both the selfie and the rear, but we are going to get into those details later. It also now has stereo speakers and faster charging. The retail box of the M4 Pro is no different from the previous one, exactly the same unboxing experience, and as typical of Poco, you'll find everything in the box except your earphones. You have a pre-installed screen protector on the device right out of the box. On the device, all the ports and buttons are in their expected positions. There is nothing different. The fingerprint scanner is on the power button and is as responsive as you'd expect of a physically mounted fingerprint scanner. Its stereo speakers have most of the sound coming from the bottom one. The top one is a little teeny, but I'd say it complements the main one quite well, and I'll take both over a single bottom firing mono speaker like we had on the previous generation, the M3 Pro 5G. Now, we have the signature IR blaster in its regular position at the top frame of the device. At this point, I'll assume everyone knows the function of the IR blaster. Like I mentioned earlier, the Poco M4 Pro 5G looks a lot more like the Poco M3 in terms of design, specifically the rear design. This time, it is not that shiny glossy finish we saw on the M3 Pro. It is more of a texture finish. It feels nice on the hands and is smudge resistant. The Poco M4 Pro is a solidly built phone with plastic on the rear and Gorilla Glass 3 on its display. You can get it in 3 colors, that is the Poco Yellow, Power Black and Cool Blue, which is obviously the one I have here. So enough on the design. I am pretty sure what is more important to anyone watching this video is the performance of the Poco M4 Pro 5G, especially when compared to its predecessor, the M3 Pro. Now, I saw a couple of reviews that said the M4 Pro is not much different from the M3 Pro when it comes to performance, but I beg to differ. While not 100%, it has improved in a couple of ways, and having used both devices, that I can surely confirm. It is more responsive, its camera performance is better, especially its selfie cameras. Gaming is also smoother, even though graphics processor is the same. The Poco M4 Pro has a 1080p IPS LCD display, which looks pretty good for media consumption. It is a 6.6 inches display with a 20:9 aspect ratio and a pixel density of 399 pixels per inch. It gets bright enough with up to 450 nits of peak brightness. Now what does all this geeky recitation mean? Peak brightness, 399 pixels per inch. Simply put, while this is not an AMOLED display, it is a pretty decent LCD display and its brightness level is good enough for outdoor use, though not the brightest, but it pretty much is good enough. Now, its selfie camera is centered in a hole punch style just like we had on the predecessor. Aside being a good looking LCD display, it has 90Hz screen refresh rate, which makes for smooth animations and scrolling experience. 90Hz is not enabled by default on the M4 Pro right out of the box, so you have to enable it. For maximum battery life though, you can stick to 60Hz, but I'd say its 5000 mAh battery capacity is quite capable of lasting you the whole day on a full charge. In my experience, the battery life is pretty solid and actually really hard to kill. Poco claims it can charge full in 59 minutes, but in my experience when I tested, when fully drained and powered off, 30 minutes of charging got me 49%, 60 minutes in it got to 86%, and to charge it full it took 75 minutes. That is an hour and 15 minutes, which is still pretty impressive for a 5000 mAh battery. Now the Poco M4 Pro runs Android 11 and MIUI 12.5 right out of the box, and in my experience it is stable and works just fine with no bugs so far. MIUI, however, feature packed, is still bloatware filled and you'd experience some solely placed ads. Most of the bloatware apps can be uninstalled, though you'd have to go through the annoying extra step of going to the settings, as there is no one-click uninstall button directly from the Poco launcher. That aside, the software experience has been smooth for the most part with no concerns. My unit of the Poco M4 Pro 5G has 6GB of RAM and 128GB of UFS 2.2 internal storage, which you can expand by SD card should you need more storage. I think I mentioned that earlier. Yeah, never mind. The Mediatek Dimensity 810 powering the M4 Pro is quite capable. It is a 6nm processor which supports 5G and is an improvement over the 7nm Dimensity 700 chipset from the M3 Pro. It has impressive benchmark scores and provides solid all-round performance with good battery optimization. For gaming, the Poco M4 Pro is quite capable. While not able to give you the highest graphics settings, you can play your favorite titles smoothly as long as you stick to the low settings. I played Call of Duty Mobile on medium settings and high frame rates, and all the time I did, I experienced no lags. In the camera department, the Poco M4 Pro has seen some major improvements. It has a dual rear camera system which comprises of a 50MP main camera and an 8MP ultra wide. Now those extra modules you see there are not cameras, just there. Now I'd say this is more useful than having a 2MP macro camera and depth sensor, so no worries that it is not a triple setup like its predecessor. Its selfie camera is now 16MP, which is also an upgrade over the 8MP camera we had on the M3 Pro. I found the pictures from the M4 Pro to be actually good and better than I imagined. It does not have a macro camera, but you are still able to get good pictures like this close-up shot from the main camera. You can notice the good background blur when focused on really close subjects. HDR is also really good, however it appears to lack a bit in saturation sometimes. But overall, I'd say you should be pretty satisfied with the pictures you get from the rear camera of the M4 Pro. Now the selfie camera also takes good photos. I'll say it is greatly improved over its predecessor. Now for portrait selfies, it's a little rough around the edges of the subject sometimes, but overall it does great with the subject separation. Where I found major disappointment with the Poco M4 Pro was with night mode. It was just no good. For video, you can get a maximum of 1080p 60fps from its rear camera and 1080p 30fps from its selfie camera. Software stabilization does decent. You are looking at a video from the selfie camera of the Poco M4 Pro 5G. It is currently shooting at 1080p 60fps. You can do that from both the selfie and the rear cameras, and that is the maximum it can go. The Poco M4 Pro 5G is an affordable 5G device. I'd say it matches up to expectations on performance as well as the price is quite affordable, and I can easily recommend it. I don't think there's anything left to say about this, so do consider giving this video a like if you found it helpful, and also consider subscribing to the channel. Peace out.